Okay. Well, got the battery now, and we're ready to go. Here's what we're going to talk about. The Granberg chainsaw sharpener. It's a grinder. It runs off of 12 volt. So you just hook it up to any 12 volt battery. I took that one out of a generator. But you can run it off your car, truck, tractor, four-wheeler, side-by-side. My tiller has a battery. Even your riding lawnmower, it can work off of. I know a lot of guys take a riding lawnmower and just hook on a cart. Well, you can take this with you and literally keep your chain brand new, sharp, all day long. Today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how this works. Just show you how it works. About $80. You need a battery to run it off of, but like I said, there's many ways to do that. You get to leave the chain on the saw, which is definitely 2 thumbs up. It's quick, it's easy. I have this in the vise. Gosh, you don't have to do that. You can just put it on the back of your truck and clamp right onto the bar, and you're fine. That's what's so neat about how portable this thing is. It's extremely simple to slip on. Okay, this just slips on down. These 2 little ledges here, these 2 little flanges, are going to help hold that chain so it doesn't rock as you file. Little thumb screws here, just kind of get them a little bit tight. Back here, this thumb screw here, that just tightens down, and that locks onto the blade, or onto the bar. Okay, and then we're ready to go. Let's see, got that locked. So you make sure that it just, well, I have it too deep in the saw again, or vise again. Make sure the chain just slides through it. This link up here, it just doesn't rock when it's being held by these 2 things. These will rock a little, and that will just round off the edge. Whole idea on this is consistency, being able to grind each tooth the same way. You end up with a saw that continues to cut straight for you. And that's a huge problem with the hand filing. So, we've got that tightened down. Basically 3 adjustments. Once you have it mounted on the bar, there's a underneath here, a little thumb nut, a little wing nut. Most saws are this way. All of my chains are this way. 30 degrees. Up on top, simple little grid up there. It's easy to lock it on. Tighten up the thumbnail, your wing nut, and you're ready to go. There's a second scale up here for beveling this way. We're just going to keep it all straight. That's at 0. On the back, we've got a, I don't know if you can see that, we've got a depth adjustment, and that just simply lowers or raises this. One other adjustment under here, this black knob. It turns, tightens, or loosens, and it's simply unscrewing or screwing out. And that's going to be how deep we go into the back of the cutting head. So you check it out. I look at here, I'm way too high, so I just have to lower this. No big deal. And also, I'm way back in on the tooth, so I know this has to come out. So get that set just right. It just needs to barely hit this chain. Just barely. Now, if you've hit a nail, you've hit a big rock, and you have a substantial damage to your teeth, you'll have to grind off more. It's going to take a little bit more time. Generally, I'll do this regularly, and my saw blade, or my teeth, very rarely get very dull before I'll hit that. Okay, so as we have it where it hits in there, where does it need to hit? It needs to get back in the tooth. The grinder blade has to come out higher than the top of your cutting tooth. What that's going to do is give you a really sharp edge. You can get down and you can look at the original bevel on there and see that it matches it up really, really well. So, going all the way into where it's hitting, it hits it just barely. Just barely. And so therefore, I'm going to tighten it down just a little. Okay. Then, what's the next step? We just hook up the battery clips, and we've got power now. Simple switch on the back, like the old lights. And that's all it is. And you just go in and come out. As you come out, pay attention. Maybe not run to the end of your grinding wheel, because it is starting to round off a bit. So as you get close to the end right there, just pull out a little bit. Going in doesn't really matter. Go in, as you pull back, pull it out just a little bit, so you're not necessarily just rounding the edge of that off. Keep it as sharp as you can. We've got it set up for this tooth, so every other tooth, not that one, but the next one, we get to cut. You pull the chain back against this little feeler, the stop gauge. So push through, not that one, but this one. Pull it back, and this is going to go in, and this is going to grind, and then we're going to have a nice sharp tooth. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Well, back when I started, I made a little mark with a grease pencil on the tooth. That was my beginning, so I'll know when I come back around to the same one. To be honest, this blade is already extremely sharp, and I am not taking much off right now because it just does not need it. To change and do the other sets of teeth that are going the other way, you loosen the wing nut and you cut on those. Going the other way, same procedures, checking to make sure that your height and depth is working. Generally, they're real close once you get the first one set. Now, the next thing you get to do, I'm going to loosen this up, and I'm going to set this, instead of at 30 degrees, which this would have been when we do the other side, but I'm going to put it at 0. And what we're going to do is there's the depth. Depth gauge on the chain, that front bar in front of the cutter head. That is designed to determine how deep the cut is, and what I'm going to do, this knob in the back is graduated. That graduated dial will allow me to know how far to drop it, rather than using one of these where you put this on and you take a file and you grind that down flush to get your 0.25. I know that I have to go 2.5 of the indents on the back, and you simply go to the front of a tooth. You got to raise this up high, get the bottom of that grinding bit to where it just barely just starting to hit the very top of that tooth, okay, the cutting head. So I know where I'm at. If I pull that over a little bit, I'm going to go on through, I know I need to lower it 2.5 of these indents. 1, 2.5. Now I know I'm at about 0.25. So what do? Instead of putting the backstop or the stop gauge behind the back of the cutter head, kind of leave it right in the middle, because what we're looking for is we're looking for this cutter head to come down and hit just the top of those teeth. Now the depth stop is keeping me from hitting the back of the cutter head, but when you grind that, pull this out of the way and then push it to the next one. And you can do every one on this way. Just be careful. As you can see, you could easily hit that front edge on the cutter head and ruin all of your work. And you can't set your depth gauge until you already ground those down, because you're not sure what that 0.25 is. 0.025, I'm sorry. 0.25 would be pretty crazy. A 1/4 inch chip. Anyway, and then so you just go through. Now, like I said, this chain's already been done. These depth gauges are all just perfect. Nothing's going to happen. But it's just same process, and then you're done. Well, that's how I sharpen the chains. One of the neatest things about this tool for me is that when I used to cut commercially, I would take my chains in, have them ground down at the local small engine shop, and it was $7 to $10 a chain, something like that. But chains were costing $30, $35 back then. Now, mass marketing, I don't know what it is, but I get chains now, and these are like 16, 17. This was almost $17 on Amazon for an Oregon chain. It works fine. It's a good chain. It got to the point where if I wanted to sharpen this chain, this is what, an 18-inch, I would have to take it in, and it cost me $18. About $1 an inch is what people are paying around here to have their chains sharpened. And why would I pay $18 or $20 on the 032 on the 20-inch, $24 on the 24-inch chain? Why? Why would you pay more to have it sharpened than to buy a brand new one? So it got to the point where I was simply throwing them away. I was using the hand file, just so I didn't feel horribly guilty. But I'd hit this a few times. These work, but they just are nowhere near as accurate and as consistent as a jigged grinder. There are handheld grinders that you can use, which I'm not a real big fan of those too, because again, it's consistency on this, that every tooth is cut the same way, both ways. You're going to have a straight cut. You're not going to have a problem. And the hand one, I don't use it anymore. Why? Because I have this, and having a new chain, I haven't bought one for a while now, and that's kind of nice. The Granberg allows me to sharpen my chains, keep them sharp in the field, and extremely accurate, and a quality job. Just a quality job. They did a good job with this. Could it be better quality? I guess it could. When I first saw it, I had doubts. But the bottom line is the thing works. And while it might be a little bit of a cheap construction on the jig, it just doesn't go under any stresses. All I need to do is the same thing over and over, exactly the same, and that it does for me. The pros to this are easy to say, or easy to be proven, in that you take it out and you cut. It cuts straight, it cuts fast, and it's that wonderful feeling of having a super sharp chain slicing through the tree faster than it's as fast as a saw can cut. And that is a huge, huge pro, and the pro that matters by far the most. Is there any cons to this? I guess, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit better engineering or a little bit better castings for the jig, but like I said, it works. One thing I did do, what did I do any modifications? This top piece is where all the weight rides on this, and it's just steel on, I think, cast aluminum. I'm not sure what that is actually, but when it rides back and forth, it has a tendency to drag. So I do have some silicone on there to help with that. And something else I noticed, when you're out here with all the leverage, you could get a little bit of deviation on your angle. So as you probably saw, generally I'll use two hands. I'll grab the far end and I'll go in and out. And I'm pushing down, pulling, but doing it the same on each one. Obviously it's not bearings, or it's just simply a metal sliding on metal. So I guess that would be about the only two things. But that all being said, I sharpen this, I take it outside, and it works great. So those definitely aren't complaints. Those are just nitpicky. If you're searching for a way to keep your chains sharp and to resharpen them quickly, easily, not having run to the shop to have them done, or in my case, it's just not affordable to have them sharpened. Maybe in a rural country, maybe you could find someone who still does for $7, $10 a chain. That was 20 years ago, so I don't know. You know that answer, I don't. But in my situation, it is cheaper for me to just buy new chains than to have them sharpened. This is definitely something everybody can do. This is not complicated. It's not laborious. It's fun to me. And I know a lot of you out there who would have fun doing it too. And doing it throughout the day even as you're cutting. You may end up start sharpening your saws too much just because you have fun doing it. It's just that easy. Well, now let's take it outside and show you how it works, show you the chips that are coming from it. I've got a tree I cut down a week ago or so. I still need to trim the trunk down a little bit more closer to the ground. Just going to leave it because it's up in the woods. Let's go give it a try and we'll see how it works. Well, go ahead and give it a try. Obviously, the proof is in how it cuts. And I mean, I know how it's going to cut, but I'll show you what the saw chips look like afterwards. Let's go ahead and give it a try and show you how the sharpening turned out. You know, when you get shavings like this, you know you're in good shape. Saw cut perfectly. I just wish it would have been enough cutting that I could go sharpen it again. Well, some say the proof is in the pudding. The proof, and when you're cutting these, are in your chips. The thickness, how sharp are they, how easy does this all go through. Very, very little dust, almost all big chips. It's just a great little tool. I hope I've answered all the questions you might have about the Granberg. Let's see, what's the model here? Granberg GXT. And I hope I answered any questions. If I haven't, leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. Clarify anything you might want to know. One thing I thought about was out there cutting the bits. The bits are $2 or $3 a piece. The grinding bits from Granberg, they're a little bit special. They are threaded. They just thread into the collar. They're not your standard one that a lot use that are just smooth bore. But like I said, they're $2 or $3. The only one I've used is the 3/16. But if there's any other questions I didn't touch on, please feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll get back as soon as I can. Definitely, again, something everybody can do. I appreciate your time watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.